Here's what you need to know. Around early March, a travel ban was issued as well as a quarantine order was also issued. What does that mean? Well, travel as you know it would be no more, at least for a little while. According to Statista.com, a reliable statistic website, movement via transportation, as we knew it, of course, came from 100% from the beginning of early March. By the time it was mid-March, it dropped by 92%. So by now it's about 8%, and every once in a while it peaks up into 10, but it never really goes over those numbers. Well, what does that mean? It means that gathering in any of these transit stations, whether it's a plane or a subway station or a bus, it can put you at risk for the infection. In fact, the CDC actually recommends you don't gather in large groups at all. So one of the best ways for us to stop the spreading of coronavirus would be to stop traveling, or if we have to travel, make sure that it's extremely safe and do the safety precautions like wearing protective wear, and as well as just making sure you sanitize your hands and everything else that you touch or before you touch it as well. So it just means it's a precaution issue that's been going on since the beginning of the pandemic, to make sure that we're not spreading the disease or the virus from one country to another, or from one state to another, or even from one city to another. From March until now, transportation or traveling in general have been put either to a halt or have been greatly reduced. In fact, in New York as we speak, transportation or traveling is below zero. It's in fact at 62%. That means a lot for a great city like New York, where everything is so busy. So that means a lot for the rest of the United States as well as the rest of the world, which means that the situation is dire and we have to take the precautions to make sure that we stop the spread of the coronavirus. Alright, I gave you a couple stats earlier. Now I'm going to give you something that you may like. Did you know, according to CNBC.com, that traveling tickets by plane right now have dropped to 14% all the way to 70%, which means it is extremely cheap as we speak, according to the United States. Keep in mind that there's a travel ban right now. That means that no one can come in and out the country as we speak. But inside the country, 14 to 70% sounds like a good deal. Wait, does that mean I can travel? I've been meaning to go to Chinatown for a very long time now, and I have this little Lysol thing. No. It is not recommended. It is not recommended by the CDC or any other professionals that are at hand giving us information about the virus. But if you absolutely have to, make sure that you protect yourself and protect others by making sure you sanitize your hands, wash them, or really just making sure that you keep things sanitized, everything else around you, to stop the spread from happening for your own sake as well as your loved ones.
My family and I personally have done some traveling in this past month of May. We've traveled outside of the state. We've also traveled down to the Keys. What we found is that many people are following the rules, and they're very simple to follow. When you go into a restaurant, make sure you're wearing a mask. Once you sit at a table, you no longer need to wear a mask. Try to stay at least 6 feet away from any person that is not part of your family or the party of people that you are staying with. If you are a healthy individual and nobody in your party is immunocompromised, there's nothing to be afraid of while traveling during this time. Just make sure that you are putting precautions in place. There are several places to find these precautions. The CDC website, State of Florida website, your different county websites have specific regulations and kind of rules for your specific area. Make sure that you follow those. But people are still friendly, people are still moving around, people are still out there traveling. People are all trying to just live their life as best they can in the midst of a pandemic while still remaining safe. Okay, so Florida is one of the top travel destinations in the world. And some Florida travel is essential, like for if you are going to a medical appointment or needing medical care in a different location, or if you have a job. But as of this month, at middle of May, the state of Florida opened travel. As you can see here at the airport, however, it's still empty. They did put a couple of stipulations in place, which is meant to keep the public healthy, which is why I'm here to talk to you about today. So wear masks when you're outside of your home or car. Make sure that you're washing your hands frequently, even when you're out, and make sure you have plenty of hand sanitizer on hand. They have open hotels. They would like you to wear masks in all of the common indoor areas of the hotels, and they are making sure and cleaning each room and sanitizing between each client with extra special care to keep you extra safe. By car, if you're traveling by car, make sure that you're bringing lots of food and drink to minimize your stops between locations where you're traveling. Make sure you wash your hands and use a barrier. If you're pumping gas, make sure you have like a paper towel barrier to grasp the pump, and also to when you're done, make sure that you wash your hands or use hand sanitizer. Also make sure you book any accommodations in advance. This helps minimize the time that you are stopping and talking to a person face to face. Anytime you can minimize that face-to-face interaction, you're minimizing the chances of catching coronavirus. They are at this time not allowing any international travel, and no cruise travel is allowed at this time. They've all been suspended. So planes are still moving, as you can see from the sky every day. Planes are landing and taking off. What the airlines are doing to maintain social distancing is, unless it is a family unit, they are keeping all middle seats vacant. Trains, likewise, Amtrak is also still moving. They are, to keep people safe while traveling and maintain social distancing, they are limiting it to one family unit per car of the train. So travel is happening, people are moving, they're just moving a little bit less compactly, less together. So everybody's maintaining their social distancing.
Hi, my name is Jorden. I'm an LPN student, and this is my family friend, Anna Lugo. Hi. So I would like to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
Like, how has COVID-19 impacted your life?
Well, it's kind of impacted it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working from home since mid-March. My daughter has been homeschooling since then as well. She actually stayed home a week before the homeschooling started, so for her it's been a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
My son is in college, so he's doing college from home. He had to come home from Boston. My daughter is also working from home, so it's kind of everybody's in the house all the time, which can get kind of complicated, but it's also complicated grocery shopping. You don't get to see your extended family, friends, to try and kind of stay home a lot. So that's about it. I mean, then of course the stress, kind of worrying about what's going on and how long is it going to last. At first it was going to be April 15th, but then it got extended. And right now I think we're going to be working from home till July so far. So
yeah, I totally get that. We don't even know when we're going back to school yet.
yeah, so yeah, it gets complicated.
So what precautions have you taken to protect yourself from COVID?
So we of course wear masks when we go out. When we go grocery shopping or when shipments arrive, everything is being washed down, with the Clorox wipes or vinegar. Well, actually not vinegar, the Clorox with a paper towel or whatever. We try and stay home as much as possible. We only go out for necessary things like doctor's appointments or grocery shopping. In the beginning, we were ordering a lot of our groceries, but we had some issues with that. So
I feel like that's more expensive as well.
Yeah, with all the fees, they start to add up.
And you don't get everything that you want.
Yeah. So and actually after a certain amount of time, it's almost like I'm not as concerned because everyone has to wear a mask. When you're in line, you're like 6 feet apart. It's kind of weird, but at the same time, you feel safer going out because they're taking so many precautions that it's really limiting the spread, I think.
I agree. Well, thank you for talking with me.
You're welcome.